You're this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching From season 3, episode 3. Let's get right into it. So now it picks up where we left off, where Jim's on the phone with who sounds like Thomas, his son, and he acknowledges this is not his son and gives Jim a warning about his kids, and he quickly runs out to get them back into the house. And we see with Tabitha and Henry that Henry knows about the bottle tree, so he decides to show her the bottle tree that is out back. And Boyd is trying to come up with a plan to trap one of these monsters. So basically, one of his plan is to capture one of the monsters in like a box or something like that and put a talisman over it. Donna gets word, of this whole entire plan and says, you need to come up with a better plan, not a half-ass plan. And everybody's trying to warn him at the same time, like, we got to really kind of think this through or else we're all going to die. Meanwhile, Fatima smells something good in the kitchen, but she can't eat that, so she has to go out to where all the rotten crops are, and she starts to munch down. Tilly catches her though in the act. She's obviously embarrassed, runs off. Meanwhile, we have Kenny and Christy and Jade and some other people from Colony House going to get the food that Kenny and Jim have found. And of course, Ethan is just Mr. Negative this whole entire season, and it asks the most asinine things. It's like saying like, yo, thinking that his mom's already dead, just being very insensitive. And Ethan ends up running off because Jim reacts as anybody should react and be like, don't think like that. Ethan just continues to be an asshole and just says some of the stupidest things, and you can't blame his age for it because he knows goddamn well what he's saying is fucked up. So then we see Tabitha and Henry have this conversation about this bottle tree, and it's not the original, but there's one where Henry and his wife went to go trip on acid, and it's like 30-40 minutes away. Tabitha wants to go there immediately, but Henry understands that like she hasn't really slept, so she's not really all the way there. Meanwhile, Boyd and Father Crabtree is having this whole conversation. Father Crabtree's like, yo, this plan is stupid. He's even saying it's kind of reckless, but Boyd wants to do something. And he's also working on putting like a name board for people that have been lost to this place, other than just making headstones and whatnot. Hopping over to Sarah, she's trying to fix the gift that her brother gave to her. She gets a knock at the door. It's Victor, and Victor's like, I want to make a fort. For what reason? I don't know, but I like that these two are finally interacting because they're pretty much the outcasts of the group. Fatima and Tilly start to have a heart-to-heart conversation because she says, I can relate what you're going through. I used to eat eggshells out the trash. And just Fatima is just really concerned about the baby and just everything that's going on. Jade and everybody else, the group that's kind of gathering the rest of the food, he is starting to feel the pressure. He starts to see a ghost and immediately starts to freak out and wants to leave and go back to town, but everybody's like telling him, chill, you're not going to make it. It's going to almost be dark. And Christy goes out to go reason with him, but then she gets caught in a whole bear trap. And this is all Jade's fault, and Kenny's pissed. They can't really find a proper thing to kind of pry this bear trap open. Meanwhile, you have Boyd having a conversation with, please forgive me, but I forget the bus driver's name, and he's trying to reassure her that we're going to be okay. But of course, Ethan's negative ass comes out and says, hey man, we're all fucked pretty much. I'm just like, bro, can we get rid of this little bastard, please? I'm so sick of Ethan's bullshit right now. So Tilly's solution to Fatima's whole problem is to use tarot cards, and she kind of's like, are you serious? And Tilly takes offense to this and be like, please trust me, like my friend gave me these tarot cards while I was in hospice and even told me about these cards, told me about my cancer and whatnot, so they could probably tell you what's going on with your baby. But before they can even get that answer, you have these crows hitting the window, and one kind of goes through the whole entire house and freaks everybody out, even wakes up Elgin. Then Jade ends up finding something he can pry this bear trap open with. But will that have some blowback? Because it seemed like those statues were there for a reason, to kind of protect those grounds. So we'll have to wait and see. But they're able to kind of get Christy out of this situation. Her ankle was like dislocated. Jade starts to see visions of this guy that he saw earlier that freaked him out, but they're able to kind of get her ankle right, and they all have to kind of carry her back to the place to kind of hide out before it gets dark. So now we're getting to the end of the episode. Randall starts to get a visit from these little those creatures, those like cicadas or whatever the fuck the bugs were, and they quickly disappear as Boyd hops on board the bus and says, we should switch places, you should go to the sheriff's office, I want to be out here. And they're probably going to work together to capture one of these creatures. Then we get a scene of Tabitha and Henry heading to the tree, but then something starts to freak out Tabitha as she sees this bracelet, and it's the same bracelet that Jim gave her, and she starts to freak out and starts to think like this place is fucking with her again. Gets into a car accident, ends up waking up in an ambulance, and then next thing you know, she is right back in Fromville, or at least outside of Fromville. Overall, this episode was solid, a little bit slower than the previous episodes, but we are getting somewhere. You know, we are having some plans with Boyd trying to set up this trap. We don't know what's going to be the outcome with Kenny, Christy, and Jade and all them, because Christy is injured now, so that's definitely going to kind of slow them down. It's probably going to be a problem. I want to see what Sarah and Victor are going to be up to. But the most interesting thing is going to be Tabitha and Henry, and what is that whole reunion between Henry and Victor going to play out like, since now he can see this place first thing for himself, or will he be able to survive? Will Tabitha be able to kind of make it out? Those EMT people are goner. But let me know how you guys feel about this episode in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out.